Welcome to The Author Show, where we feature new authors and books, from fiction to self-help and everything in between. You'll find it all at theauthorshow.com. That's theauthorshow.com. And now let the show begin.
Hello and welcome back to the show. This is your host, Don McCauley. Today we're welcoming to the program author Joseph M. Lenard, and he is the author of The Book of Kennedy, Project Carpe Diem. Before I bring in today's guest, a quick reminder that selected interviews are available at our website, as well as on major platforms like Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, and many more. Joseph, how are you?
As I always say, could be better, could be worse, right?
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Born and raised in Southeast Michigan, though I hate the winters here, I do still choose to stay.
So tell us about your book.
Yeah, people say of my writing style, maybe I'm a bit weird. I like to think of it as being different and unique. Right? And this book is a novelette, actually, not a full novel. The Book of Kennedy, Project Carpe Diem, I like to call a quasi-sequel. And what do I mean by that? Well, Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, which we've talked about before, is not about death and destruction, even though terrorism is in it. It's about life and living. And this book is that, life and living, but with new characters. But I'm broadening and expanding upon that sub-theme of life and living and trying to sow good and navigate life positively, while all the massholes, as I coin them out there, constantly trying to drag us all down.
So who did you write your book for specifically? Who's your target audience here?
Well, I consider myself a Christian author, but I don't want to be, and don't see myself as, pick up the Bible and thump somebody over the head with it and say, why won't this sink into your head? More lighthearted, more gentle approach, not preach to the choir type stuff. So while it is for Christians, it's very much for non-Christians too. I like to say of Penn and Teller, I speak to on my podcast all the time, as the comedy magician couple. He's an avowed atheist, but he has no problem with Moses and the Ten Commandments being on the Supreme Court building. And he sees our laws as coming through our Judeo-Christian ethos, values, and principles, ethics as just being a good human. There's no need to hate the law because of how it was derived. He recognizes our nation's history, but just recognizes life. Sowing good is a good thing. Being a good person. Rick Springfield has the song Karma. Every little bit of love I give to another, you know what I believe? It comes back to me, right? Sow good, you'll get good. Wanting to live like Rick Warren, a purpose-driven life. Doesn't have to be a faithful one, but wanting good for others and good in return.
So could you say there's any type of central message or perhaps underlying theme that you would say runs throughout your book?
Yes, indeed. From the back of the book, I will read, life and living, affirming all lives have meaning, purpose, value, whether one sees it oneself daily or not. Join Kennedy as she navigates the good, the bad, the ugly of life, and trying to maintain positivity through it all.
So if you had to choose, what would you say is the single most important idea you're sharing in your book that's really going to add value to the reader's life?
Again, that life has value and meaning. like It's a Wonderful Life that we see every Christmas, that movie, right? You're not going to have a Clarence come down and show you what the world would be like without you, but rest assured, you're bringing value and meaning to others' lives.
Now, if you were asked to compare your book with any book out there we might already be familiar with, which book would it be and why?
Well, that's an easy one for me because I'm aware of a company called Incubate that has this service called Score It. And I have my Score It report for my book, and it compares books you write to millions that others have written. Like my Score It report for the Book of Kennedy Project Carpe Diem says, my style, and this book is most like The Just City by Joe Walton. It's compared on authorial vocabulary, expressive complexity, grammar, tonal quality. It's also compared to Paulo Coelho, I'm sure I'm not saying that name correctly, book Adultery, although there's no cheating on the person you're with in my book, but it's compared to that. And thirdly, a book called Lock In by John Scalzi.
Can you tell us briefly about some of the characters in the book?
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, it's the Book of Kennedy, Project Carpe Diem. Nothing to do with the Camelot crew, right? JFK, RFK, Kennedy, a young woman, George, Jim, Natasha. And is this book, I like to give bonus materials, and I literally have a soundtrack. Yes, this book has a soundtrack of like 400 songs that you can find on my YouTube channel, a playlist, and Matt Davis's Stop and Smell the Roses, a classic song that helped inspire this book, is there, as well as more current songs for the younger people who will be probably classics 20 years from now.
So, was there anything from your own life that you put into these characters?
Yes, like I said at the top, lightheartedness. You need to put in a little humor. And as I say in How to Write a Book and Get It Published, Hints, Tips, and Techniques, this old adage, write about what you know. So I put a scene in the book at Holy Cow Creamery, which I'm a regular at in the summers to get root beer floats.
Now, was there a character or scene, perhaps, that you could say is your favorite?
Yeah, I have a couple. It's when Kennedy becomes acquainted with Bullseye the Clown, and he relates the story while in Moscow and having the language barrier of how smiles and rubber chickens are universal to lift spirits and so good, as well as a scene where she hums a tune by rapper DPB called I Feel Good Today, and even a chapter called Peer Pressure, which is based on and inspired by DPB, the rapper's Peer Pressure song.
Now, did your environment or upbringing perhaps play any major role in your writing?
Oh, absolutely. Again, it doesn't have to come from a Christian point of view or perspective. It can be just wanting good, sowing good, to reap good, that karma thing again. Every bit of love I give to another, you know what I believe? It comes back to me, right? If you sow good, if you hang around good people, good things, even though bad things happen to good people at times, rising above that and knowing if you put out good, you'll get good back.
So what can you tell us about this genre and why you decided to write in this genre?
Well, again, it's kind of a mixed genre thing. This is, unlike Terror Strikes, that was historical fiction, or as I call that, satisfaction, which again, major sub-theme, life and living. The overriding theme is life and living. It would fall under Christian, but it would also fall under young adult and just plain general fiction. Again, just trying to have ourselves look in the mirror and self-reflect. Religious or not, are we doing good? Are we getting good because we're giving good?
Well, what's been your most rewarding experience since publishing your book?
Well, this is going to sound like I'm blowing smoke, and I'm not. I really mean it. With all my books, including this one, it's great to be able to then go on interviews. This is a more direct interview structure, but radio or podcasts, a lot of shows where I get to go on and have great conversations with people, indeed, about life and living, and are we making the best of it we can?
So how would you describe the writing style you're using here?
Again, as I joked at the top, a bit weird. I like to hope that I'm different and unique and non-traditional, like my name, Joseph M. Lenard. It looks French. It's not Lenard. It's Lenard without an O. But I have to make that distinction because there is a Joseph Lenard who is also a Christian author out of South Carolina. So I have to make that distinction. And I like to joke, I am not he nor he me, and you won't confuse either of us for Shakespeare, right? I don't necessarily conform to the Oxford English stuff, right? There's that Shakespeare joke. Won't confuse me for Shakespeare. I use words like gotta and gonna and wanna. I don't necessarily adhere to the AP or the Chicago writing style guidelines either. I write for our times, even though I've written many pieces online politically regarding we're losing our language. Our language is getting too loose. I make Kennedy be a person of our times, though. I don't want her to sound like something out of a Shakespearean novel.
Now, your characters, are they pure fiction or do you draw from people you know in real life?
Well, like in my How to Write a Book and Get It Published Hints, Tips, and Techniques book, character development and scene development and whatnot, I joke about that adage. Write about what you know. And it's like the old TV show Dragnet. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. So yeah, I draw heavily on people and situations in my life, as I was joking about the Holy Cow Creamery visit in the book.
So would you say you're more of a character artist or more a plot-driven writer?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. I'm more plot than character necessarily driven, although the Book of Kennedy, Project Carpe Diem, relies heavily on we're experiencing this whole book through her. So this one may be more character driven. I also want to read the note from the author on the back of the book. I want to state as a warning, this book contains not one line of dialogue. I feel it important to say that because a reviewer of my Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You novel once wrote that she didn't think there was enough dialogue in it. Well, in all the interviews I'd ever given regarding that book, I never promised it to be a dialogue-laden book. In fact, that while having some dialogue, it is heavy narrative style. As this book is entirely in narrative style versus like Plato's Dialogues, Philip Roth's Deception, or Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath.
Other than selling your book, of course, is there anything else you hope to accomplish with it?
Yes, again, about life and living. And there's a lot of mass holes, as I've coined that hashtag years ago, out there, negative Nellies. They're full of misery, and they always have misery in their life. They want you to be miserable. I want more positivity in the world, and trying to bring that. And in the book, I mentioned the old adage, show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? If you're surrounded by a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, your future's probably going to be bleak. If you're surrounded by those negative Nellies, you're likely to be negative too, and your life will have negativity. Surround yourself with positivity and that karma, Springfield style, whether you feel it religious, spiritual, or just indeed karma, the way of the planet will come back.
So in your opinion, who should buy your book?
Well, obviously, we're recording in September. Christmas gift giving, right, is around the corner soon. So buy it for yourself, buy it for other avid readers in your life, and I'm sure they'll have fun with this book.
Do you have a website?
Yes, I have two, actually. I have yet to create a website for this book, but you can go to terrorstrikes.info/TBOK for the Book of Kennedy, terrorstrikes.info/TBOK to see a page dedicated to this book, and maybe eventually there will be a website dedicated to this book. That site obviously is for my Terror Strikes, and I have pages for my other books, as well as an author site, josephmleonard.us.
This has been just great. Our guest today has been Joseph M. Lenard, and he's the author of the Book of Kennedy, Project Carpe Diem. Joseph, thanks very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, Don. It was great having a chance to talk with you again. Love you, brother.
This is Don McCauley wrapping up another edition of the Author Show. Go out there, buy the book today, and please share this interview with your friends so they too have the opportunity to discover our guests and their work. The Author Show can be accessed at any time at theauthorshow.com, and whether you're an author who would like to be featured or a reader in search of new books to read, the Author Show is a great place to start. Check us daily as we continue to introduce wonderful authors of very interesting books on the Author Show.
Thanks for listening to The Author Show. Find out more about authors and their work at theauthorshow.com. Theauthorshow.com. Tune in next time to another great author on The Author Show.